Hello beauties and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Janelle, and if you are not new here, hi, my name is still Janelle. Thank you so much for being here. So today I have my December wrap up for you guys, and I'm super excited to talk about all the books that I read this month. I felt like this month was a pretty good reading month considering that it was Christmas and I'm planning a wedding and all that stuff. I managed to read 8 books, which I feel like is my normal. These were smaller books. None of these books are huge at all, but they're still 8 books, so you know, we're going with it. Before I get into the books, make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and of course click the bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. If you love books, bookish content, bookish vlogs, then you should definitely subscribe because I post every Friday and every Sunday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. Also, make sure to like this video. I would love that. It would make my heart happy, and I think it would make yours happy too. But obviously, if you didn't love it, that's cool too. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the books. Okay, so one of the books that I read this month is Goodbye Girl and Hello Lady by Lauren Bentley. So this was actually gifted to me by one of my parents' friends, and I actually got this for my 18th birthday, and it's taken me a while to get through it. But I really enjoyed it. It's just so practical of just like things that a lot of women can struggle with and how to overcome those struggles of like insignificance and insecurities and just fears and all that kind of stuff. And so this was really awesome to read. I really enjoyed it, and I gave it 5 stars. So yeah, this was really fun to read. Next up, we have The Great Gatsby by S. Scott Fitzgerald. Love this book, so good. It is a classic for me. I also gave this book 5 stars. I know, it's like tabbed away. The last time I read this was in high school, and I read it as like an assignment, and so I felt like I should read it on my own time just to see how I really feel about the book, and I really loved it. The Great Gatsby is just such a good story, and I'm really excited for Nick, the prequel of this, to come out in 2021, so that's really exciting. The next book that I read was Snow and Rose by Emily Winfield Martin. So this was one of my Christmas reads this month, and I really enjoyed it. It was so cute. I love the art style in this. It is just like watercolor. It's so beautiful. So I definitely recommend this as like a cozy Christmas read. I know that we're past Christmas, but it was amazing. I so loved it. So I definitely recommend this book. I also gave this book 5 stars because I will definitely be reading this next year for Christmas. So the next book that I read is another Christmas read, and that is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. This one, amazing. Also, I feel like A Christmas Carol is just a classic to read for Christmas. This one, Snow and Rose and The Great Gatsby, I read in my 24-hour Cozy Christmas readathon. If you haven't seen that video, you should definitely go watch it. It was super fun to film, and it was super fun to just read a bunch of books. So this was one of those, and this was also a 5-star books. I have a lot of 5-star books actually this month. Now that I'm thinking about it, there's a lot of 5-star books. So yeah, this was amazing. The next book that I read this month was Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. This is just a very practical and logical approach to Christianity itself. I think this is a great read if you are a Christian, and even if you're not a Christian and you don't believe in anything like that, it's not really personal at all. It has nothing to do with Christians and non-Christians. It's literally just looking at what Christianity is, what it looks like, and why it could be different for everybody. Like, it's really interesting, and I definitely recommend it. But I gave this book 4 stars, and the reason I didn't give it 5 is just there were some parts in this book that kind of lost me. It is really hard to read this. I will say C.S. Lewis and the way that he words things and just his thought process is so complex. So there were times it was really, really hard to follow this. And then there were also times where I just became uninterested, which is always hard, I feel like, in a book. But I did love it, and so I still gave it 4 stars. This next book that I read was Take Me With You by Andrea Gibson. This one was so cute. It's actually poetry. So it is a little poetry book, and this was so cute. And I honestly used this to catch up on some reading because I had fallen behind a little bit, and it like has barely any words on a page. So I kind of cheated with this one a little bit, but it was super cute to read. I did give it 3 stars, which does mean I still like the book. The poetry was beautiful. It was definitely my favorite part. The wording was beautiful. The story was beautiful. I loved everything about it. The only reason that I didn't give it 5 stars is because personally, it's hard for me to read books about controversial topics. And it's not because maybe I don't agree with it or I do agree with it. It has nothing to do with that. It's just the fact that like sometimes things like this start to stress me out because I know that it's so controversial and so many people disagree that I'm just like, and so it makes me nervous to read the book and then talk about the book. So that is why I didn't give this 4 or 5 stars. It's just a personal thing with me. It's just really hard for me to read books that are controversial. So that is why I didn't give this 5 stars. And another book that I read is This Is Where It Ends by Mariek Ninjkamp. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I could totally be butchering it, but I loved this book. I gave this 4.5 stars. It was just so good. It is basically, we're following 4 different characters and their kind of experiences and emotions being part of a school shooting. And this was kind of nerve-wracking for me to read too because school shootings are very, very scary for me. I had a really bad time of a lot of anxiety in my sophomore, junior year of high school, and a lot of it was because of a shooting that happened in my state, and it really had me shaken up. And so this was definitely hard for me to read. It's very, very heavy, but it was so good, and it was so cool and just like eye-opening to see different people's perspectives and how different people were reacting to this scary event. So I definitely recommend it. On the front it says everyone has a reason to fear the boy with a gun, and it's true, everybody has a reason to fear them, but to see each person's fear and why they feared it was so cool. I mean, I loved digging into this. The only reason that I didn't give it 5 stars is because there was a moment in the book that, which I won't spoil anything, but there was a moment in the book that I was just kind of like, okay, like, why? Like, I don't know, it was just like one of those things that you're like, you could have gone without that piece. I don't know. That's just how I felt about it, but yeah, so I did really, really enjoy this one. And the last book that I read this month was These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. So this one, loved. Amazing. It's a spin on Romeo and Juliet, taking place in Shanghai. So good. I loved the characters. I loved the story. I loved the action. I seriously loved this book. However, I did give it 4.5 stars. And the reason is because there was a moment in this book where I just fell off and just like, we were great, and then I was just like, what just happened? Like, there was this momentum, and then I felt like excuse me, and then I felt like it kind of just died. Like, I was like, what? Okay, but what about that other thing? I don't know. That's just personally how I felt about it, but still loved it. Definitely plan to reread this at some point. It was so good, and there's definitely a second book. It's being written as we speak, but I cannot wait for the second book because this was absolutely amazing. The way that it ended, I'm like, hello? Book number 2, where? I need it. But it was overall just a great month. I had a lot of fun with everything that I read. I had so many 5-star reads, which was amazing. And I really feel good about everything that I read. I didn't have any like books I didn't like this month, which was awesome. I always love that. But I'm also okay with not liking a book. Like, it happens. But yeah, so that is everything for my December wrap-up. If you have made it to the end of this video, please drop a snowflake in the comments down below. I would love to see who made it to the end. I think that's everything for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.